Just a few more days to go before we're back in Premier League action as we take on Nottingham Forest this Saturday. In today's video, as always, we'll be catching you up on all the latest Liverpool news from the past 24 hours, including some major updates ahead of the big clash. There's loads to cover today, but first, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more top Liverpool content. It's been a decent international break for Liverpool overall, with 18 of our players representing their national teams, and 5 of them even getting on the score sheet. While many fans sighed when the break hit, especially with us coming off 3 wins and clean sheets in a row, the international fixtures gave our lads the chance to see some new faces and freshen up. Interestingly, 10 of Liverpool's international players played the full 180 minutes during these 2 weeks, which could influence Klopp's team selection against Forrest. Here's the rundown of their minutes. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 180. Virgil van Dijk, 0, oddly enough. Ryan Gravenberch, 180. Dominic Szoboszlai, 180. Alisson, 180. Luis Diaz, 180. Queven Kelleher, 180. Andy Robertson, 180. Connor Bradley, 180. Kostas Tsimikas, 180. And so on. On the goal-scoring front, our usual suspects were added again. Salah, Mac Allister, Diaz, Endo, and even young Ben Doak getting on the score sheet. But special mention has to go to Ben Doak, who absolutely shone for England U18s with a couple of brilliant assists. Meanwhile, Ryan Gravenberch and Trent Alexander-Arnold showed off their passing skills, with the Dutchman especially looking to emulate Trent's playmaking ability. In other big news, Mo Salah reached his 100th cap for Egypt and, unsurprisingly, marked the occasion with a goal, his 56th for his country. Not only is he their top scorer, but Mo's on course to set even more records. After the match, he was celebrated by his teammates and presented with a commemorative shirt. Manager Ibrahim Hassan even said, "I hope he makes it to 200 caps." Big expectations, but knowing Salah, he'll give it a go. Now, on the downside, Harvey Elliott has had some pretty bad luck lately. The youngster, who was hoping to get more game time during the international break, ended up returning early with a fractured foot. This means he could be out until late October, which is a massive blow as we've got 7 matches coming up across different competitions. But on the bright side, Curtis Jones is back in full training after missing a few games, and Alexis Mac Allister seems to be managing his fitness after playing limited minutes for Argentina. Finally, we've got some exciting news about Liverpool's future talent. 16-year-old wonder kid Rio Nogueira officially joined the squad earlier this month and has been training with the first team. It's no surprise given Liverpool's focus on developing young players and creating pathways for them to break into the senior side. Definitely one to watch. So, with all that said, what do you think about the injury to Harvey Elliott? And what are your score predictions for the match against Nottingham Forest this weekend? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And that's it for today's video. As always, make sure to like and subscribe for your daily dose of Liverpool content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Here's the continuation in British English, keeping the informal and explanatory tone. So, in some pretty big news ahead of the match against Nottingham Forest, Harvey Elliott's had a bit of rotten luck. The 21-year-old, who's only played 7 minutes for Liverpool this season, is now facing a spell on the sidelines with a fractured foot. The hope was that his time with England's U21s would give him some valuable minutes over the break, but unfortunately, he had to return early for a medical assessment. And now, according to Paul Joyce, it looks like he'll be out until late October. Elliott felt some discomfort during training with the Young Lions, but no one really expected a diagnosis like this. It's a huge blow for him, especially as he was hoping to break into the first team this season. With Liverpool playing 7 games across 3 different competitions starting this weekend, rotation was going to be key, and Elliott's chance seemed just around the corner. But now, we're looking at up to 6 weeks out, which also means he'll miss a potential senior England call-up. It's a setback, but fingers crossed he's back for the first game after the October international break. Chelsea on the 20th. That's the target. On a more positive note, Curtis Jones is back in full training after missing a couple of games, which is great news. Alexis Mac Allister, meanwhile, played only 26 minutes for Argentina due to some fitness concerns, but he should be good to go. And Federico Chiesa has used the break to get himself up to speed, so he's now another option for Klopp across the front line and maybe even in the number 10 role. In other exciting news, Liverpool completed the signing of 16-year-old Rio Nugara earlier this month, and he's already been training with some of the first-team players. With 19 senior players still away on international duty, Klopp's squad is looking pretty thin at the moment, so there's a chance for the younger lads to impress. Nugara is expected to join the U18s this season, but don't be surprised if he's fast-tracked through the ranks. He's definitely one to watch. Curtis Jones, as we mentioned, rejoined training this week, and Darwin Núñez, Joe Gomez, and Federico Chiesa were also involved after staying behind during the international break. Núñez is still serving that 5-game ban from the Copa America, so he's been getting stuck into training instead. A few senior players didn't feature during the break though. It seems like goalkeeper Jaros is dealing with an injury, and of course, there's Elliott's foot problem. Although the first-team squad is small right now, it probably won't be the last time we see Nugara training with the senior lads. With talent like his, you can expect to hear a lot more about him in the coming months. Liverpool have also added another young player to the academy, 16-year-old midfielder Alvin On, as part of their continued effort to refine their post-Brexit recruitment approach. Speaking of past transfers, remember when Liverpool sold Fernando Torres to Chelsea for £50 million back in 2011? At the time, it was a massive deal. But looking back, Torres's form dropped dramatically after that, which Liverpool had apparently seen coming. Torres had started picking up injuries in his second season at the club, and by his third, he wasn't quite the same player. So, selling him for £50 million, though painful for the fans, turned out to be a pretty smart move financially. What do you think about the blow of losing Harvey Elliott to injury? And how do you reckon we'll line up against Nottingham Forest? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And that's a wrap for today's video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for your daily dose of Liverpool news. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Here's the next part, translated into British English with a more informal and explanatory style. Now, back in 2011, Torres' form dropped off sharply, something that caught most people off guard, except maybe the folks at Liverpool. In an alternate reality, fans might have seen the sale of Torres as a masterstroke for the Reds, both on the pitch and in the boardroom. But, as we all know, things didn't quite go that way, especially after £35 million was splashed out on Andy Carroll, who didn't quite live up to the price tag. However, for the players back then, losing Torres wasn't quite as devastating as it was for the fans. Speaking on the overlap, Jamie Carragher explained how the club saw Torres' decline coming. He mentioned that Torres had been picking up injuries as early as his second season at Liverpool, though he was still playing well. But by his third season, Rafa Benitez's last, Torres wasn't the same player. Carragher said that Torres' best moment came during Euro 2008, where he scored the winning goal in the final against Germany. By the 2010 World Cup, though, Torres wasn't even a starter. He came on as a sub in the final and pulled his hamstring. It was a nightmare moment, with the whole world watching, and that was when people started labeling him injury-prone. At the time, Torres had a £50 million release clause, which was an astronomical sum, £20 million more than the club's previous record sale of Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. Despite the injuries taking their toll, Torres played just 9 times for Liverpool in the 2010-2011 season before his January move to Chelsea. Roman Abramovich was still ready to break Chelsea's transfer record for him. Carragher remembered how a surprise 2-0 victory over Chelsea, under Roy Hodgson, convinced Abramovich to pull the trigger on the deal. Torres scored both goals in that match, and after that, it was clear that the deal was as good as done. Carragher said that when the club received the £50 million for Torres, they were thinking, wow, they're not getting the Torres we know. They knew Torres wasn't the same player by that point. So, what do you think about the bad luck with Harvey Elliott's injury? And what are your score predictions for the Nottingham Forest game this weekend? Let me know down below in the comments. And that wraps up today's video. As always, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for your daily dose of Liverpool content. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.